Okay. So, welcome everyone to the December Recovery Network monthly meeting. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's a busy time for everyone, getting ready for the holidays. Perhaps some of you might have some time off, and then wrapping up probably different activities for this year. So, thanks for being here. I'm going to share my screen with the agenda. The agenda is also in the chat. If anyone would like to take a look at that, you can download it from the chat. Can you all see the agenda? A couple head nods. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. So our presenters for this meeting include Pathways to Recovery, Chris Nugent, the Assistant Director, followed by Community Change Center. Sam Burgett will be the presenter there, and she is the founder of that center. And then our last presenter is InterCare Veteran Services. We have Aaron Shaw, aka Santa, who will be closing us out. And then, if time allows, that will be an opportunity for all of you to share information about your programs, services, whatever you have in the works for the new year. That is your opportunity to plug away. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All of the presentations are also in the chat in a PDF file. If you would like to go in the chat and grab those, you can download them from the chat, or you can email me directly and I can send them to you via email. I did put my email in the chat as well. And I think if you could please also mute yourself until after each presentation, just to drown out any background noise, if possible, please. After each presentation, we'll open it up for questions and comments, things of that nature. And then again, at the very end, if we have time, you all can share information about your program. So we'll go ahead and kick it off with Chris.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for the invite as well and the opportunity to share our services. I will put this together. All right. Is that presenter view? It is, right? Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much and welcome to Pathway to Recovery. I'm not sure if you guys have heard with us before, but we'll get into our services exactly. We are a program that has 115 residents spread across 7 different properties and different levels of housing with recovery support throughout the process. Okay. Our residents are going to work on 4 different pillars. These are going to be our goals for Pathway. So our entry level program, which would be a level 3 recovery residence, works in 4 categories. One, substance free. We support that via 12-step program. Also yeah, accountable through drug screens and whatnot. Stability with mental health services, also primary care services or any support that an individual would need. Self-sufficiency, healthy workplace, continuing to build on the your income, and then safely housed at Pathway to Recovery. What makes Pathway to Recovery different is we have 3 levels of recovery housing under one roof. I think this makes our program very rare. So, our entry level program is going to be a transitional facility where individuals can come to us from either detox facilities, possibly on the streets, whatever their level of care is needing at that moment, can enter into our program for a 6-month program through transitional, where we use structure, accountability, support, and peer driven services to help an individual navigate uh, their life in this direction that their goals are set for. So for the first 6 months, we have the most oversight transitional program. After that, they would graduate into our semi-independent or pathway 2 and 3, which would be sometimes it's easier to use it as it's almost Pathways version of an Oxford House, where our staff is going to be the supports for individuals in that program. That's also a 6-month program. Once our participants graduate both of those, then they can go into our apartment complexes. We have 4 units currently, housing 72 apartments, and then individuals that go into our apartment complexes are tenants in our program. We are very much hearts of service here to where individuals that graduate and continue through our program come back to our entry level program and help guide some of the newcomers that have that been in our program or might have similar struggles and need some peers through that process. All right. With our Pathway One, our entry level program, here's some of the services that we provide there. Again, this is a 6-month program. It is a 24-bed facility. Individuals that are coming in typically are arriving in our facility with nothing but the clothes on their backs, right? So there's a lot of basic needs that we're gonna try to help them obtain in the process. So whether it be IDs, support for food costs, insurance, the whole nine. So from there, we're gonna support that with structure and stability, with a pretty structured day-to-day process for them, Monday through Friday. Get some downtime over the weekends. Our staff here is going to be all peer driven, where they are mostly peer certified recovery coaches. However, they are in recovery and are peers as well, and a high percentage have actually graduated our program. With that being said, they are supported through case management, 12-step engagement, mental health support that they so we don't provide any clinical services here at Pathway. We're going to help our individual participants navigate that process and walk with them through that. So with transportation, scheduling, appointments, and just any support that's needed throughout their clinical support, whether it be therapy or primary care or whatever that may look like for that individual. We do support with medication monitoring. We are a full MAT facility. And then as well, we provide life skills, budgeting skills, job preparation, and physical fitness. Our program is set on the goal planning, which is going to go back to those four pillars that we work on being substance free, stability, and self sufficiency, and safe housing. And then as well, we'll support with relapse prevention and continued recovery and housing placements as they progress through our program. This next slide here, this is just kind of a guide to see what our day would look like in our entry level program. So, we have a lot of partners that make what our mission possible, but in that case, also the structure, stability, and consistency is so key in these early stages. So we want to make sure that our residents come in and kind of have an idea of what their day-to-day looks like, right? And so these are going to be set on very consistent schedules for them. With that, I won't break all this down just for the sake of time for everybody, but you're waking up at the right time, kind of the chores, the typical transitional support here as well. So, just to give you an idea of graduating our Pathway One facility, individuals that graduate our Pathway One and move into our semi-independent, they're going to walk out of our facility with substance-free support system. This is going to be verified through negative drug screens or alcohol screens or breathalyzers, documented participation in recovery meetings, their sponsor contact and step work, and then their continued structure of service working with other individuals. They're going to be supported with their mental health services as well, depending on who they work with. We've had a ton of partners that have been great to work with, whether it be Raphael's Health Center, Hamilton Center, Adult and Child has been fantastic. So just a lot of supports that we have that can communicate with us and help us better wrap around our individuals. And then also financially self-sufficient. So when our participants do obtain employment, which would be what we do is ask for them to gain employment after a 30-day period, so they get some time to build a foundation. Then we're putting a budget plan together. We're creating goals of what they'd like their life to look like in the future, and help them save to get into those moments. The average stay with Pathway to Recovery is roughly 3 to 5 years throughout our program, so into our apartment complexes. And what we'd like to do in that case is even think outside of the box and really set them up for their future. So whether that's partnering with Habitat for Humanity so they can leave our apartment complex and go into home ownership as well. And so, in order to do so, we want to make sure that we're providing life skills on site or support to help that individual become successful. All right. But just a breakdown of our semi-independent. So we have two houses, 17 beds in total. This is our phase two or semi-independent living. All individuals that are going to be participants in these programs are working on the same goals that they graduated with at Pathway One. However, there's much more independency in this place. They're able they have less restrictions on weekend passes or curfews. They're able to go kind of with the flow on what they do in that process. We support them with weekly house meetings, and then they also have a commitment in this phase to give back to Pathway One. So whether they're modeling their recovery or they're just there for support in that process to somebody else, we've seen that be very successful in the culture in Pathway to Recovery as we're stronger together. But again, they will be in this stage of our program for roughly 6 months. Now, our phase three is our independent living programs. So here you're only going to see three. I'm excited to show you our new and our brand new building that just opened in December. But with this one, individuals that are in our apartment complexes, now you don't have to come from Pathway to apply for our apartment complexes. So we'll take any individual. They just have to come from a transitional setting prior. We have individuals from Seeds of Hope or from Heart Rock, Progress House, Lucille Rance. A lot of individuals live in our apartment complexes. So you do not have to be a graduate of Pathway. What we're the most proud about in our apartment complex is we've been able to keep our housing affordable in this 2025. I think we probably all feel the barrier of how expensive things can be, especially when you're going through situations of prior felonies on your record or evictions on your record, and you know how housing can be extremely expensive. All of our facilities or our apartment complexes are sober living settings. But this, we want to continue to support independent, healthy living moving forward. We've got staff here if you ever need. We provide all the maintenance on site. And technically, when you are in these stages of our program, you are a tenant in an apartment complex. So we do quite a bit of outside meetings and stuff like that together that our participants will chair and be a part of for the guys in earlier stages of our program as well. With Pathway to Recovery, our mission is not only to just serve individuals as they come in and looking to adjust their life in a more healthy direction, but it's also to support the community. Our history has been to purchase homes in tough neighborhoods and ensure that we can rehabilitate those houses and become somewhat of a beacon of hope for any individual that might be in the communities that need support or somebody to reach out to. So we do our best to make sure that we can support the community and the needs that are at that moment. So in that case, until this December, with our newest property, all of our apartment complexes have been purchased, rehabilitated, and have been able to house individuals in areas that's been somewhat of a barrier. All right. So this next slide is going to be our partnerships. Again, we can't do it alone, and we are much better together. So areas like MHAI has been fantastic with us. Second helpings for our food and ensuring that we can support that at such a heavy cost and transitional. They've been amazing. The clothes closet has been fantastic, and a lot of our guys coming into our facility with almost zero clothes on their back or just what they're wearing alone to help them get set up because that's tough. Raphael's Health Center supporting us with primary care, dental services, quite a bit there, and then back on my feet as well as help with employment placement, and they can also help on some clothing items and stuff like that. So they've couldn't meet our mission without them. And this next slide was for Pathway 7 because it was up and coming, but I can skip that now because we have just opened. So I wanted to show you guys, but we don't do a ton of presentations, so I apologize. But right here is our Pathway 7. So we have a new 21 bed apartment that has opened up. We have 17 single bedroom units and 4 two-bedroom units. Also accompanied by a 2,000 square foot community center that we've got there that's sponsored by the Colts. So we're really excited about that. This is going to be an area that we provide not only outside 12-step meetings, but also we want to do life skills that can vary from painting, art, that side of things, into budgeting to yoga, and be open to the community as well. So we want to make sure that we can be a safe place for not only our residents, but individuals that might be seeking services or just curious about what that looks like. If you look really on the very bottom right-hand picture, I think you'll see Sandy, which is a rare case, but she's in the corner in that office just for giggles. But at this very top corner is going to be a visual of what our apartments are going to look like. They also are going to come furnished and also are at affordable housing rates. And this facility is located on 32nd and Central. Again, this is and even touching more base on our community center. This is going to be a big place for us as our entry level program is where we've done all of our presentations, our outreach or connections with other programs, and it's been really tight. We don't have a lot of space here, so this open community center is huge for us to have to be able to invite individuals and discuss how we can work together better to support our communities and the needs that are present at the moment. And then with our slide here, so Pathway to Recovery has been an open organization since 1989. This is a little bit of our impact here. Throughout that time, we have served 1,714 individuals. 93% of the individuals who have participated in our program have had gainful employment. $27,000 a year is going to be the average salary that an individual will leave our Pathway One facility making. And again, there's another situation. Things are getting much more expensive, so we're looking in that space to help find healthy employment in that area. 65% have graduated our program and maintained sobriety or have left in substance free. And then 57% of our graduates have been permanently housed or achieved permanent housing via verified through leases. And then that's us. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you so much for your time. And Heather, thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you, Chris, for the presentation. Was a lot of good information. I wasn't aware of all the different levels that you all have, and that new connection center looks amazing. Do you know is there a projection for when that might open?
It is currently right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have been in the grassroots stages of getting some meetings going there right now. So I would say fully February of next year.
Okay, nice. Okay, good. Does anyone have any questions for Chris?
Hi. This is Diane with PAL, Parents of Addicted Loved One. Chris, I love Pathways. I have a
Oh, thank
question
you.
you might have already mentioned it, and I might have missed it. So,
Okay.
what is the criteria for going into Pathway for the first phase? I'm assuming they have to be detoxed.
Yeah. So with our transition, what we in a perfect world, and that's just not always the case. An individual would have a minimum of 14 days substance free would be best. So we want to make sure that we're meeting medical necessity of that individual. So it's going to be individually based there. Um, let's say some that we get a referral or an individual might show up at our property that is seeking services, but might have, let's say, is detoxing from alcohol or in withdrawal symptoms going there. That's something that we would not take on, but we would partner with a treatment facility, make sure that they could go into the treatment and through their 28-day stay, keep that communication line open to come back into our facility afterwards.
That's great. Any other criterias? Just the detox piece, or is there an interview
Well,
process?
yep, there's an interview process. We take our applications online at pathwaytorecovery.org. We'll survey those. We try to be as low barrier as possible for individuals coming in. At the current moment, like let's say we have some handicap situations that can be difficult at our entry level program. We want to be aware in that situation of not set somebody up that's difficult for them to move and be successful there. We do have a homeowner situation a little bit that we've worked with and gotten a little bit easier on some charges. So whether we have the sexual offenses can be tough for us as well, and then violent offenses. But I think we've made some strides in that area, and that's not a complete no. It's just going to be a case by case basis. And
Great.
then individuals entering our program. Now, the one thing that we could is they would not be able to have an income currently.
How about animals? Animals, if they bring an animal with them, their dog or
Unfortunately, in that case, at our transitional facility, we would not be able to house the animal. I have two dogs. We're huge dog lovers in our apartments. Absolutely. We just have like a security deposit there that could help out in the process. So yes, in the apartments, yes, in the semi-independent, however, not in our transitional.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for everything that Sandy and you and all your team is doing. So appreciative.
Stop. Thank you so much, and thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to take notes as well as moderate. So, okay. No, that was a lot of really good information. Thanks for asking those questions, Diane. Anyone else have any questions for Chris? And yeah,
Yeah, I came in a little late. I really liked what I heard though, Chris. Thanks. Yeah, I was hoping to get those slides. Maybe you might have done that before I got in, but yeah, keep up the great work. Sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm up at Light Recovery, up in Milford, up in northern Indiana. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and we actually want to. broaden our environments a little bit with Pathway to Recovery, I'll put my information on here and shoot me an email, because now that we're getting the community center open a little bit, that we want to make sure that we're able to outreach much more than we've had in the past. So I appreciate it as well, and I look forward to
Awesome.
talking to you in the future.
I will do. Thank you.
Yeah, yep.
And Thomas, I did drop all the presenter slides in the chat. So if you scroll up, you should be able to find those. They're in PDF form. But I also put my email address in the chat. So if you want me to email them, if you're unable to get them from the chat, just shoot me an email and I'll send those to you as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think I came in like 7 minutes late, so I think they probably got in there before me. But I'll shoot my email to you right now.
Yeah, no problem. I put them in there early, so I wouldn't forget about it. And people always want the slides, and so we try to cover all the bases there.
I figured it was me. I'm used to that. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Yeah, so thank you, Chris, again for the information. And feel free to follow up with Chris. Again, if you want the slides, you can't get them from the chat, just let me know and I'll send them to you. Okay, and then so we'll move on to our next presenter, Sam Burgett with the Community Change Center.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I'll go ahead and attempt to share my screen here. All right, are you seeing it? Perfect. All right, so I'm Sam Burgett. I am the founding executive director of the Community Change Center. I also am a police social worker at the Porter County Sheriff's Office, but so the work kind of works well together. A lot of times we serve people in our jail, and then as they come out to the community, the goal is to provide services comprehensive pre and post release. So I just wanted to give first an overview of the various services that we have. So as I mentioned, our programming started in 2018 in Westville Correctional, as well as Porter County Juvenile Detention Center. So I was working as a detention officer at the time, saw the many gaps in the system, started a reentry program that began on the inside with the young people and then continued as they returned back into the community post-release. And then it was around that same time that I had the opportunity to launch a similar program in the prison with the adults. So that's really where the agency's roots are and how we came about. We still continue the pre-release programming, and we're working on expanding that into additional correctional facilities as well, finally. We have 2 small-scale transitional living homes in the Glen Park neighborhood of Gary in Northwest Indiana. So primarily, we have guys there that a lot of times wouldn't qualify or wouldn't be as much of a fit at a different recovery residence in our area. So we're typically getting men who served at least a couple of decades in prison. That's not a requirement. That's just what we've seen a lot of due to our structure and their needs. So it works well together. This year, our new initiative is our Fresh Starts food truck. So again, when we're having individuals with felonies, especially heavier charges, coming out of incarceration, a lot of people tell me that it should be really easy to find jobs because there's tax credit and things like that, but that's not been our experience. So we finally decided to create in-house employment, partially to get people working and working quicker, but also to be able to help those that don't necessarily have the soft skills developed yet to go out and maintain a different job anyway. So we started with the food truck. That's obviously relatively small scale in terms of how many people we can employ, but the goal is to keep replicating that initiative and eventually turn it into a brick and mortar diner so we can both employ more people as well as have somewhere that the community can come in and kind of address the stigma when they go in and have a positive experience with somebody, and it kind of allows them to put a human face to a population that a lot of times people are scared of if they're not familiar with individuals in that population. So the food truck has been really, really effective in terms of getting those individuals who in the past have never been willing to engage in outpatient services. But what we found is when they're showing up for a paycheck, then they're showing up consistently, but also then as they get to know our crew, then they're willing to engage in services that a lot of times they're not willing to engage in elsewhere. So I always use the example of a young man who worked the truck this year. I actually had worked with him in the juvenile system. He aged out, landed in our jail for a couple years, And when he got out with a couple high level felonies, he called me and said, nowhere will hire me with these charges. And so we hired him on the food truck, and having known him for years, he's someone that would have never been willing to engage in therapy, but really, really needed it, really needed case management. And he actually agreed to do that as long as it was offered through Community Change Center with our staff that he had become familiar with. So the Fresh Starts Enterprise Initiative has done what we set out to do with it and then some, but we're looking forward to replicating it so we can again serve larger numbers of people through that program. To kind of tie in with the actual tangible employment that we're creating, we're in January launching what we're calling Set for Success. It's a 5-day course teaching people those soft skills. We see a lot of times that people, one barrier to even getting jobs, especially if you've been down for a long time, is figuring out how to work your cell phone, figuring out how to make a professional email. So we start with the basics. Actually, we start with the basic purpose of empowering them and helping people feel good about themselves. And then we get into working the basic technology so you can even look and apply for a job. We do the interviews, of course, and resume building and professional headshots and all that good stuff, and helping kind of focus on coping skills. What do you do when you're denied a job or when your coworker really makes you angry on the job or something like that? So Set for Success, like I said, will roll out in January, and then the goal there is we're providing the participants who graduate that program with certificates that then, in the meantime, we're also building relationships with local employers. So the end goal is have a bunch of employers who know they can come to us for people who have completed that program successfully and kind of fill that gap in the workforce and expedite the process of getting our clients working. We also similarly received funding recently to launch a ServSafe class, actually taught by someone with justice involvement. So we're putting our first individual, again, having a hard time getting into the workforce due to their background, even though hers is actually like 20 years old. And so we're putting her through the ServSafe instructor course in January. So then she'll actually be able to kind of make a career out of then hosting classes to the community for ServSafe to equip more people with those ServSafe certificates. And with that grant funding, it also covers putting a large number of people with justice involvement through the class as a manager, so they leave with that certificate to make them more employable to local restaurants and other businesses as well. The goal then with all of the workforce readiness curriculum and projects is to continue expanding that so that we can have various enterprises so we can kind of better match our clients to the work that they're interested in and help kind of push them as they get their education, experience, soft skills, all that. Then we want to ideally in the long term help them enter whatever career path they're most interested in or passionate about. Along with that, we have our Breaking the Cycle merchandise line. So if you go on our website, if anyone's interested, we're trying to get our brand out there, but also we're trying to turn that into a job for someone. So we do sell that apparel, and as it grows, then of course, like I said, the goal is to hire people who can then run and kind of help sell that. This year, in addition, so actually in 2025, this was the first year that we had any paid staff as an agency. So we've been able to develop a lot of programs just with myself and using volunteers and interns. But we received Health First Indiana money this year to hire our first individual, and then actually in partnership with 320 Recovery in Chesterton, we were able to launch a location in Hammond, which is actually embedded in the courthouse, which has been really cool. So we're getting a lot of their participants coming through drug court, and both of those offices serve as a walk-in space for people to come and receive case management, peer support, whatever wraparound services they're looking for. So with the addition of our finally paid staff, so it's myself, I do this out of passion and love for the agency, and then we have 1.5 paid staff members, plus then me. So with the addition of our staff, we were able to this year launch what we've called the neighborhood, which is really we're trying to provide sober pro-social events to help our clients get connected with other community agencies. So whether it's us saying, oh, we have pizza in the park on this day, or we're collaborating with this agency with their event, then we're just trying to provide people a safe place with people they're comfortable around, or to get to know other people, to go out in the community and make those connections. We also have Voices of Reentry, so that as men, it's typically men who have been in our pre-release program. As they get out, once they're out stable and doing well, then a lot of them enjoy having a platform to share about their experience, to push that out to the community, again, addressing that stigma, but also ideally helping the next person who returns specifically to that neighborhood. So we've seen it sometimes where because we're engaging with individuals being released from incarceration all over the state, or they're reintegrating all over the state, it's really nice to be able to say, hey, we had this man went through our program 2 years ago. Now he's in the same county that you're going back to, and he would love to kind of help support you when you get there. So we're working to build out that statewide network, because our services are currently only in Northwest Indiana. But again, because we work with people all throughout the state, we work hard to try to build those connections and supports all over. And then lastly, we offer our Second Chance Saturdays. It's an annual expungement fair. So we just hosted our 3rd annual. Usually we have between 30 and 40 people that we schedule with volunteer attorneys to go in and get assistance filing that expungement paperwork if they qualify for a non-contestable expungement. So really our goal is to be comprehensive. We operate to the best we can in a really full circle manner. The coolest thing to me is seeing guys who are in our pre-release program, and then years later, they've been through the system, they're out, they're doing well, and then they're supporting the next people. So my favorite story of that actually is we had a guy who was in our Westfield program back in he was in our very first cohort. He was locked up pre-COVID, still post-COVID when we went back into the prison with our group. He was the only one that was still there from the original group. And then he got out, went to work release. Work release invited me to come speak about what we were doing, and they actually put a construction crew together and bused the guys for 6 months to our reentry homes that had been donated to help with the rehab. And the guy from our pre-release program was on that construction crew, so he actually did the drywall in the homes and then moved into the homes as our live-in house manager, and has been over the years able to help guys coming through that program too. So that's always our goal, is really help people through the system, help them get reintegrated and stable, and then empower them to be able to equip the next people coming out of the system. So that's what we have going on, where we're headed. I don't know if anyone on here is familiar with Homeboy Industries already, but love that, Heather. They're the largest reentry program in the world. So that's really what our goal has been, is to bring this to Northwest Indiana. And we've made a lot of progress, especially over the last year and a half or so. We're finally both a Medicaid and Recovery Works provider, which allows us to continue to work towards that financial sustainability, so that we can continue to bring staff on and clinicians and provide more robust services to those in the system. The goal, as we become financially stable, that really goes hand in hand with the Second Chance Enterprises. We're working to grow that even outside of the region, so that we can be hiring, providing work for individuals throughout the state. And the longer we've been around, the more we've seen really this awesome partnership forming between local government and law enforcement, as they're recognizing the need for comprehensive reentry services. And so it's been amazing to be able to start on the inside within more facilities, and then help people build that rapport and build a sense of community while they're on the inside. So then they're more likely to continue to engage with us in services on the outside. And here's our information. I can put the website. Well, I guess everyone will have the slides, so I don't need to put the website in the chat. But check it out. There's our Facebook as well. That stays pretty updated. That's my email. And then if anyone is interested, it is a ticketed event, but in April, we're hosting our very first big fundraising gala. And so we'll have, with the ticket comes appetizers, dinner. We're doing a silent auction with art actually created in correctional facilities and treatment centers throughout the state. And we'll have speakers, of course. But the goal is, of course, to raise money, but also raise awareness for the cause, and help the community really see the beauty in the work, and get to hear from some people who have been through the program and are out doing really well. So if anybody has any questions, I would love that. But all this info is on our website and on our social media as well. I'll go ahead and stop sharing if anyone has questions at this point.
Thank you, Sam. That was a lot of great information. I love to see all the programs you have. You really have grown since I think the last time you presented during this meeting. So it's all really good to see. I love the name of your gala, by the way. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Sam?
Not really a question, just well, I guess it's a question. Are you familiar with Crossroads Solar in South Bend?
Yes, actually, I went
Okay.
there a couple years ago and saw their facility. They're amazing, and it's very inspiring to see other agencies that have been able to do that. And absolutely, they're great.
Nice, cool. Yeah, well, keep up the great work. It looks
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. Thank you.
Aaron, do you have a question?
So I was curious. I just want to say I love the idea of voices of reentry. Do you utilize like individuals can?
I'm so sorry, Aaron. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you at all.
You know what? I think it's because my computer is up against the tray. Is that better?
Now you're good. That's good.
That's what it was. It was sitting up against the tray. So with the voices of reentry, I love that idea. Do you use like any individuals who have been through a reentry program or just your reentry, like alumni from your reentry program?
No, it doesn't have to. It has been just our alumni because that's how we've gotten the word out, but we're very open to anyone who's been through the system at all.
Okay, perfect. And then I just want to say thank you for sharing and thank you for what you're doing. And huge. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Shout out to Dave on here too. Dave with 320 helps us a lot. We definitely couldn't have launched the Hammond site without them.
We're big fans of Sam over here for sure.
Oh, well, thanks again, Sam. Appreciate it. And again, Sam's presentation is in the chat, but if you're unable to download it, let me know. Send me an email and I'll send that to you. All right, so our last presenter today is Aaron Shaw with InteCare. I had the privilege of meeting Aaron at the MHAI Symposium. Was that last Friday, I guess? It's been a busy month, year, whatever. Anywho, so really love the services they provide. And so Aaron, go ahead and take it away for us.
Let me unmute real quick. I'm going to go ahead and remove the beard just in case so it doesn't get in the way of my presentation. But thank you for inviting me. It was really a pleasure to meet you in person, and I was really excited about sharing today. I'm actually, Chris, thank you, and Sam for sharing your information. I'm a huge advocate on peer-to-peer as a certified peer support professional myself. I truly believe in it, and I love that you guys are utilizing that and sharing it. And then transitional housing. I was also someone in need of transitional housing a decade ago. So thank you all for what you're doing, and thank you for sharing your information. Let me see if I can share this and do this correctly. I think it's usually when I go to start the slideshow, that's when I have struggles. Can you all see the slideshow?
We can see the PowerPoint. It's not like in a full screen, but we can see it.
Okay.
There you go. We got it.
That's full screen?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So thank you again for inviting me. So I am Aaron Shaw. I'm the outreach coordinator for InteCare Veteran Services. I also wanted to share that PowerPoint that I shared with Heather has another address, and that address is still correct. It's at 96th and Keystone, but we are just now opening up a new office at 777 North Meridian. If any of you are familiar with Indianapolis area, that's where all veteran services, from the fourth floor down to the first floor, it's all veteran services. We're going to have a walk-in clinic that should start rolling in January. So we are very excited about that, and that's why the address is different on this PowerPoint presentation. So to go through what we're going to discuss, right? We're InteCare Incorporated. That is the organization that we fall under, but we are specifically InteCare Veteran Services. We cover the SSVF grant, which is a nationwide grant that is covered by the EA or the VA. It's funded by the VA. And then we are a grantee and we provide rapid rehousing, homeless prevention, and emergency housing assistance. And then we're going to cover the eligibility requirements, and we'll do a quick income example. I'll kind of go through what that looks like, and then if you have any questions. So we are supportive services for veteran families. That's what SSVF stands for. And as I said, it's a national program, and the purpose is to promote housing stability among very low income veteran families who reside in or are transitioning to permanent housing. Our role with SSVF. So InteCare, we are located in Marion County. That's where our offices are, but we cover 13 counties. Basically, we do surrounding counties, and then we go out west towards Vigo and Sullivan and Park and Putnam, and basically anywhere out west, and typically center of Indiana. We are a housing first provider, meaning we can provide alternate resources for mental health, those in active addiction, and legal services referrals. So with the rapid rehousing for homeless veteran, this includes veterans leaving hospitals, treatment centers, as you all were sharing, and any homeless shelter, with homeless prevention to those in imminent risk of homelessness by eviction. So I'll give you a few examples of those. And then the emergency housing assistance, they may be eligible case by case if veteran is pregnant, has minor children, or deemed medically fragile. We can provide financial assistance for vehicle repairs, and then utility assistance, arrears, and deposits for new accounts. We also provide ongoing case management and referrals for other resources. So to give you a better idea of what rapid rehousing looks like, veteran actively experiencing an episode of homelessness. That, again, could be a shelter, could be a hospital, could be coming out of treatment, and all the way down to out on the streets in the snow with no resources and no form of income. To give you a recent example, right, we have a veteran. We work closely with other organizations, as some others were sharing, like Veterans Court, Aspire, Adult and Child. We're working close with Horizon House with the street outreach so that we can keep in contact with them. And we encountered a veteran that was coming back from treatment from Marion, Indiana. He showed up in Veterans Court on a Friday morning, and he had been in his vehicle for 2 days with his dog. So when we found that out, I was able to enroll him the same day, and I was able to get him into the Red Roof Inn on Friday, and we housed him into a housing facility, the Veterans Villa, the next week. So it can look like pulling them immediately off the streets, putting them into hotels, and then working with them to get them housing. And then once we get into the housing, we can help like provide household items. We can get them a bed. We can get them a move-in kit, all the basics that you need when you move into your home. And then again, with everything we do, we want to provide ongoing case management and referrals for outside resources. Basically, not only do we want to provide the housing and get them settled, but we want to make sure that they have the resources to continue moving forward and work on progress and keep them from being unhoused again, right? We want to make sure that they don't come back through our doors if possible. So homeless prevention, veteran in imminent risk of eviction due to non-payment. So say a veteran, he or she lost their job and has been unable to pay their rent for the last 3 months. So when they are in eviction status, if they contact us and they're eligible, we can back pay the arrears, make sure that they don't lose the housing, and then we'll work with them to try to get them the resources to get a job and to get them back on their feet so that they can continue paying rent, and we can assist them along the way with other financial needs. And then, of course, we want it to be sustainable after we work with them. So providing utility assistance for those in arrears, as I was saying before, and then ongoing case management with all referrals. I also want to give another example, like with rapid rehousing. So we can also work with emergency situations. I was given a call about a month ago. We had an individual that was fleeing domestic violence, And even though they are housed in an apartment, that is qualified as a rapid rehousing situation. So we are able to take them immediately out of that apartment and get them housed into the Veterans Villa same day, so that they can get away from the situation, and then we can continue to work with them to get the right resources, and keep them safe. We also can provide like the emergency housing assistance, some of those that I shared, but it can be anything from childcare. We can help them with car repairs, utilities, get them the move-in kit. We can get them a bed, and there's other things that we can cover depending on the situation. It's case to case, of course. Here are the service providers in Indiana. If we do not serve your county, there should be a service that can serve. There are only a few counties that are not served, unfortunately. But I can tell you, if you run into a veteran that lives in one of the counties that are not served, and they are heading to one of our counties or willing to come to one of our counties, we are still more than happy to work with them. Of course, the only requirement is that they're in that county for one night and they're unhoused, and then we may be able to get them into a hotel and find them housing in that county. Of course, they would have to stay in that county if that's where they were heading to. Those not listed in InteCare service areas are still encouraged to call our hotline for the purpose of getting them the correct contact information for the service area. So we'd be happy to work with you to find who it is. Right up north, you've got Bright Point, you've got VOA, Illinois, and then down south, your LTHC and Talbot House and some of the other ones. But yeah, we can definitely get you covered with the services that provide SSVF in your area. Income limits differ in some of the counties. The limits provided in your folder are strictly for InteCare's reach. So really, it's Anderson and Terre Haute. That's where the limits differ. Any other county is going to be covered under Marion County's guidelines, and we have a list of income limits. So we look at our list depending on how many people are in that house. You got the veteran, you might have a spouse, and you may have children. That can change the amount that they qualify for and the amount of income that they can be bringing in for them to be eligible in our program. So eligibility requirements: veterans must have served at least one day of active duty. For reservists and National Guard, we have other resources that deal directly with those veterans. So this can look anything like went to basic training, served, right, a couple of months, and unfortunately they were removed from service. Even if it's a other than honorable, dishonorable, they have opened it up to so many options. As long as they have one day of active duty, their discharge does not matter. Now, of course, with National Guard and Reserves, it's a different situation because they could have gone through basic training. They could have went to all of their trainings monthly, but if they don't have one day of active duty, we're unable to help them. So, but it is not based on VA eligibility. They do not have to have VA health care to qualify for our services. Veterans needs to have any discharge other than honorable, other than dishonorable, and that has changed, so we're opening it up to way more. I apologize. And then literally homelessness per VA guidelines means veteran is sleeping in a place not meant for habitation, hospital, treatment center. Couch surfing is not considered literal homelessness, but if we have a veteran that is living with a family member and must leave and must exit that house, it is considered homeless prevention, and we can get them enrolled. Here's an income example. So you've got Jay Smith. He's a 52-year-old veteran who is experiencing an episode of homelessness in Marion County and is sleeping in his vehicle. So we round up his disability, calculate it for the entire year. So his annual income would be $12,901.92. And he or she, they're able to make up to $62,000 per year. And when I put the number into this box, it will automatically calculate for me. And down at the bottom, you can see his AMI is 16.65%. So I would be happy to calculate that for you. And if you have someone in need, you're more than welcome to contact me, and I can immediately tell you if they're eligible either by their DD-214 or if they are already in the HMIS system. But anything under 30% is extremely low income, which puts them higher on the list. And then, yeah, we really are wanting to work with these veterans and meet them where they're at and do anything we can to try to provide the services and then keep them engaged and active along the way. And yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know. I appreciate you guys letting me share. Sorry. Let's see if I can get out of here.
Thank you, Erin. That was a lot of really good information. And I really appreciate that slide with the service areas. I found that really helpful about what counties and who provides those services, and even seeing the ones where there isn't anything yet, but hopefully it's in the works. So thank you for all of that.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any questions for Erin? All right. Well, Erin, I think you dropped your information in the chat as well. So if anybody thinks of anything or has someone that you know could maybe utilize some of those services, feel free to reach out to Erin. And then before I open it up to everyone, I had to do a couple of shameless plugs of my own. And so tomorrow I am hosting a Advocacy 101 training at no cost to anyone who wants to attend. Registration is required, and it is worth 1 CEU. So that link is in the chat as well if you want to register, attend. Get you a CEU for next year if you're up for recertification or anything like that. And then also, I put a link in the chat for the survey to hear back from everyone about what kind of information you would like to see for these meetings in the new year. If you would like to present and you haven't yet, send me an email. Happy to add you to the agenda. If your organization is not a member of the Recovery Network, it is free to join. So shoot me an email and we can talk about that. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to all of you. If you want to share information about your program, it is your time to shine. Raise your hand, virtual hand. Let us know, who you are, where you're at, how can people get connected, and what you offer. Okay. No pressure.
Crickets at the moment. Well, I'm Tommy. I'm again with I'm a peer recovery coach up at Light Recovery Hub, and they also run the cafe there in Milford. We work with 9 counties and maybe 2 more, maybe north of Indy, Tipton, Howard, I believe, if that works out. The way that's kind of cookies crumbling down there. I did have a question. I don't see that link in the chat. Were you just going to email me that? Like for all, like everything you just mentioned, you said there were links there. Did you put that in earlier, or am I just not seeing it?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I wasn't sure who you were talking to me. Yes, look early on in the chat. So the link for the training is Virtuous. It's super long.
Yeah, my chat started at 12:15, so I don't think I got anything before that, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm the slacker. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Send me an email and let me know what all you would like, and then I'll
Okay.
send that over to you. Sorry about that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the information as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and if anybody needs any help in Northern Indiana, St. Joe, Elkhart County, down to Huntington, Wabash, Kosciuszko, Marshall County. I'm missing a couple there, but we it's a really great place to work. I love everybody there. Tammy Cotton's, an angel. I feel fortunate to work there, and we're starting to do great things. So I appreciate all the info, and you'll see me again on here before long.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Heather.
Yep, Tammy's awesome. All right, anyone else want to share information about your organization, anything new you're offering in the new year?
Hey, Heather, this is Diane again with PAL, Parents of Addicted Loved Ones. For those of you who don't know about PAL, we're a national faith-based nonprofit that provides free weekly meetings to family members, friends, acquaintances, 18 and over, with someone that they love that's suffering with substance use disorder. We have 14 meetings here in Indiana, and also we have 5 online meetings a week with 1 in Spanish. And we also started a YouTube channel as a parent of a mom who today is a good day. My son is in long-term recovery. Holidays and winter was always the worst for me. And if they can't make it to a meeting, it's just nice to go to an online meeting. All they have to do is listen. They don't even have to participate. And just to be around people that they know that they understand and they're not alone. So thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you for sharing the great news as well. Kim, would you like to share?
Hi, yes, I'm Kim. I'm with Oxford House for Sober Living. I just moved down here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, transferred down here. So if you guys have any Zoom meetings, I would love to be involved in. Anybody want to reach out and get me a little more acquainted? I'm originally from Indiana, but I've been doing Oxford House work in Milwaukee. So for about 5 years now. So I'm just getting back into Indiana. So all the resources and help would be great. And we have houses, I believe we have 127 throughout the whole state of Indiana. I'm very well acquainted with Wisconsin and Illinois. If anybody wants to transfer up there, we have 43, no, I'm sorry, like 4,000. I can't remember. I'm sorry. We have a ton all over the United States. Almost like we have 21 in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's my goal to venture that way one day when the grandkids are older. But yeah, if you guys need anybody to get in, just go to oxfordvacancies.com and we could get you get somebody put in a house immediately.
Thank you, Kim. Welcome back to Indiana.
Thank you.
Just in time for the great weather.
I know, right? Listen, the snow followed me from Milwaukee the night before I moved here. It snowed 12 inches. And on the way here, I'm like, oh, it's just following me.
It's you.
Aaron, would you like to share?
So I had one little thing I wanted to. If any of you are familiar with treatment courts, we're very connected to the treatment courts and the alumni community. So I'm going to plug in a website, and if you join, you can get the information from ntcaa.net. But if you are a treatment court graduate, no matter what treatment court that is, reentry is also included in that. You are more than welcome to join, and we have a Sunday night meeting, alumni recovery support group. And then if any of you are looking to just if you have veterans that need to get connected with the community, we're very connected to all of the organizations here in Indiana, and we'd love to get them connected with recovery or support groups or outreach. There's a ton of stuff. Please don't hesitate to give them my number. But thanks, guys.
Thanks, Aaron. Summer, did you want to share? I thought I saw a virtual hand.
Within Illinois.
I was just going to plug in the numbers for Kim. I'm also an outreach worker for Oxford House. So it's 109 in Indiana for a total of like 4,600 houses with like 35,000 beds
Wow,
in 6 countries.
that's amazing. Thank you, Summer. All right. Anyone else want to share? We got a couple. Oh, yep. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy. I live in Terre Haute, Vigo County, but I work for HVAF, which is helping veterans and families, and our office downtown Indy is right by Aaron's office, so it's just around the corner. But we just recently expanded and brought employment services to West Central Indiana. So we help veterans that face a lot of barriers because we also help house them too, but other services to keep them housed and help them be self-sufficient. So if anyone has a veteran, we can help. We have a lot of funding, so we can help with like car repair. If they want a CDL or any other certificates or any kind of training, we can help with a lot of that. We want to help eliminate all those barriers to employment or education. So yeah, hit me up if you guys need any or know any veterans. In Indy, they have an office, but then I'm also in West Central Indiana.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for sharing that. We should definitely schedule you to do a presentation in the new year.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
All right. Mike, did you want to share?
Sure. Mike, a little under the weather. My name is Mike Shorter, Clubhouse, Indiana. Clubhouses are programs for adults with severe mental illnesses. There's currently 9 accredited clubhouses throughout the state operating in Maryville, Goshen, South Bend, Elkhart, Fort Wayne, Kendallville, Indianapolis, Vincennes, and Terre Haute. There's also a bunch of startups that we're getting going. If you know anybody who might need a day program for their mental illness. Basically, our clubhouses are communities where folks volunteer their skills, talents, and abilities as opposed to going to get traditional treatment. We work together side by side to build confidence and relationships. Through that work, people go back to school, go back to paid employment, and find better housing. So if you would like more information, please check out clubhouseindiana.org. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. I hope you feel better soon. And yes, big fan of the clubhouses. All right, everyone. So our next meeting is scheduled for January 15th. It'll be the same length. Our meetings are always the third Thursday of the month from 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time via Zoom. So again, if you want to present, just shoot me an email. We'll get you scheduled. Share this with all your friends. We usually have a low turnout around the holidays, but hopefully in the new year, we'll get more folks joining us. So help us spread the word. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Thank you for being here today. See you all next year.
Happy holidays.